This is the CBS Evening News. Bob Schieffer sitting in tonight for Dan Rather. Good evening. The government suffered a major defeat today in its efforts to shield children from pornography. The U.S. Supreme Court ruled that an outright ban on telephone dial-a-porn services is unconstitutional. But the decision was not a total victory for this $2 billion a year industry. CBS News law correspondent Rita Braver has our report.
The Supreme Court today said dial-a-porn services that offer sexually oriented recorded messages may stay in business, but they must restrict their language to the indecent, not crossing over the line into the obscene. Last year, Congress passed a ban on all dial-a-porn services in an effort to keep children from phoning in.
Hi, my name is Linda from D.C.
But the court said the government should find a less restrictive way to screen callers, such as requiring credit cards or special access codes. The court opinion by Justice Byron White said the current law violates the First Amendment and has the invalid effect of limiting the content of adult telephone conversation to that which is suitable for children to hear. It is another case of burning up the house to roast the pig.
And if the Supreme Court had given censorship and Big Brother a green light, a blank check, so that instead of just protecting children, we could suppress speech because we find it offensive, then it's very hard to know where that kind of governmental power would stop.
Some religious and child advocacy groups were disappointed.
It isn't only the parents that have a stake in this. All of society is concerned with the well-being of these people and what kind of people they're going to be when they grow up.
However, 3 justices said the court majority did not go far enough and should have allowed all messages, even obscene ones. But as for the difference between obscenity and indecency, the justices did not define it in this case. In the past, they've said the standard may differ from one area to another. So there may be more legal struggles as individual communities attempt to regulate dial-a-porn. Rita Braver, CBS News, Washington.
Another Supreme Court decision today involves death row inmates who have lost their first round of appeals. The justices ruled 5-4 that such inmates are not entitled to free state-appointed attorneys to file new appeals. In the Senate today, more heated arguments over child care legislation. The majority Democrats agreed to revise their bill to add a White House-backed tax credit, this one worth up to $750 for parents of children under 4, but the president is still threatening a veto. Linda Tyra reports.
The seemingly innocent issue of child care became the target of a bitter, week-long partisan Senate debate.
This act is about to undermine one of America's most cherished freedoms, the freedom to decide what is best for our children.
We believe that your car and your pet are guaranteed certain standards and protection by state licensing agencies. We think your children deserve no less.
Yesterday, Senate Democrats stared down a presidential veto threat and won approval of a comprehensive child care plan. It calls for tax credits for parents and $1.75 billion in federal subsidies to states, with most of the money going to low-income families to pay for child care. The bill also encourages states to set child care standards in key areas such as health and safety. But Republicans backed by President Bush repeatedly try to offer their own plan which minimizes state control, emphasizing parental choice with tax credits to individuals.
Child care is a family issue. Let me say it again, it's a family issue, not a government issue.
To save the bill, Democrats scrambled to come up with a compromise, incorporating a portion of the Republican tax credit plan.
The president wants his bill. He's not going to get his bill just as he designed it. There is going to have to be a compromise.
The child care bill has a large constituency. An estimated 10 million American children under the age of 6 need some child care during the day, and the numbers will only continue to grow. It's still a long uphill battle before new child care legislation passes Congress. The House takes up the matter next, and the White House says the bill, unless it's changed, will be vetoed. Linda Tyra, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Despite all the attention the Supreme Court has been getting lately, Americans know amazingly little about it. A new Washington Post poll shows that 2 out of 3 people were unable to name at least one member of the court. Sandra Day O'Connor, who is the most well-known, was recognized by only 23%, and only 9% could identify the Chief Justice as William Rehnquist. That in contrast to a whopping 54% who correctly identified Joseph Wapner as the judge on the TV show The People's Court. Well, still to come on the CBS Evening News, Frank Courier reports on the full count in court today for Pete Rose. Bob Simon counts the changes in an unchanging China.
Attention. For the following few moments, I'll leave this Crispix cereal sitting in milk to test whether it stays crispy, rather than turning to bland mush like some cereals. This is only a test.
Pain. Pain that throbs. Aches. Pain that pulses. Remember, there is a wonder drug for pain like this. The wonder drug doctors themselves take more often for pain. The wonder drug doctors take more than extra strength Tylenol, more than Advil. More doctors take Bayer for pain. Bayer is the wonder drug that works wonders.
To the average car, this could be a dangerous body of water, even though it's only an inch deep. That's why you should drive the new four-wheel drive Subaru Legacy, the latest in foul weather gear.
Where does it hurt?
Here.
For indigestion and gas, your medical answer is Extra Strength Maalox Plus. Its doctor-recommended formula neutralizes more than any leading antacid. Ask your doctor about Extra Strength Maalox Plus.
Okay, let's check out the crunch. Still crispy, still tasty. That unique toasted crisp shape holds up. You can now return to regular programming. Crispix, crisp that just won't quit.
More than 50 opponents of abortion were arrested in Seattle today for blocking the entrances to a medical clinic. They were protesting the sentencing today of another group of demonstrators who were arrested at a previous sit-in. James Satori now with that.
It was a day of reckoning for 50 anti-abortion protesters convicted of trespassing at a suburban Seattle abortion clinic last year. A judge had given them a choice: stay away from sit-ins for 2 years or serve a year in jail and pay a $5,000 fine. Many had indicated they would do the time. Late today, they were in court to give their answers.
They put their bodies between a murderer, an abortionist, and his victim. And for that reason, they should be given a hero's welcome rather than a sentence.
The case prompted even more protests in Seattle today. 54 arrested at this clinic. It's become a familiar scene, officers dragging passive protesters away. They identified themselves only as John or Mary Doe to obstruct prosecution. In Minnesota today and around the nation, the Operation Rescue movement is keeping its vigil, obeying its own moral beliefs, ignoring the law. Since last summer, arrests at abortion protests nationwide total in the tens of thousands. Police and court costs are mounting too, into the millions of dollars. It's a trend which has concerned many.
Deterrence obviously is supposed to be one of the factors in a sentence.
Do you want to go to jail?
I'd rather be out here rescuing babies.
For Penny Ackert, a defendant in the case, jail seems inevitable because she says she will not stop protesting against abortion.
I'd be selling the Lord out if I did that.
She and her husband have put the house up for sale and sold off belongings to devote more of their lives to their cause.
Many people think, I'm sure, that we're insane, and we're going to be separated, and those will be some dark days for me.
But local officials say they must send a message that it's time to get tough.
That the legal system is serious about addressing crime and that we can't have people flaunting authority.
With sentencing still underway, Judge Rindahl suspended jail time, putting the defendants on notice that he won't tolerate any future trespassing. James Satori, CBS News, Seattle.
The legal contest about whether Cincinnati manager Pete Rose will go before the baseball commissioner Monday went to a full count today. Rose's lawyers argued the commissioner is biased. Baseball's attorneys argued the investigation into whether Rose bet illegally on games has been fair. Frank Courier reports.
Amidst mounting evidence, Pete Rose gambled big on baseball. The usually outgoing Reds manager is now avoiding cameras.
No pictures, sir. I'm sorry. That's it. Out of the way.
As fans lined up at an Atlantic City baseball card show today, he signed autographs behind a screen. TV news cameras are now barred from Cincinnati's Riverfront Stadium. These pictures were shot with home video gear.
Mr. John Dowd was on the stand. He's now.
But at the same time, in a Cincinnati courtroom, the legal battle over who will rule on the fate of Pete Rose is very public.
The accumulated testimony of witnesses, together with documentary evidence and telephone records, reveal extensive betting activity by Pete Rose.
In their last-minute bid to block Monday's hearing between the baseball commissioner and Rose, his lawyers hammered away a second day at investigators.
The entire procedure so far, which Commissioner Giamatti had used against Pete Rose and proposes to use in the scheduled hearing is tainted. It's tainted and blatantly unfair.
During a recess, baseball's chief investigator said no decision on Rose has been made, and he ruled out any evidence that Rose ever fixed a ball game.
Pete is on the field doing the best he can. And it's a difficult time for him, and I've told him that. And it's not concluded until the process runs its course.
Gambling revelations from the courtroom have jarred the faith among even the staunchest Rose loyalists.
I like to believe the guy's innocent until proven guilty, but I must say that the circumstantial evidence doesn't look too good at this point.
The judge presiding in the case announced he will rule Sunday at noon on the lawsuit to halt Commissioner Giamatti's showdown with Rose. For now, baseball lawyers remain confident and hopeful, they say. The hearing will proceed on schedule in New York on Monday morning. Frank Courier, CBS News, Cincinnati.
The House gave final congressional approval today to a bill that provides $3.5 billion for so-called emergencies, chief among them veterans' health care programs that were running out of money. The government today reported that orders for so-called big-ticket durable goods plunged 4.2% in May. That was the sharpest drop in 10 months, but analysts noted the decline followed a huge gain in April. Today's report helps send the stock market to a post-crash high.
Thousands of years ago, the world was introduced to a vehicle that could travel in some of the worst weather and hold plenty of cargo. This year, history repeats itself. The new four-wheel drive Subaru Legacy Wagon. After thousands of years, man still can't improve the weather, only the way he travels through it.
Some heart problems are difficult to detect. But this machine is making a difference. It lets doctors see inside even the littlest hearts to provide the treatment that saves lives. This kind of innovation is typical of Siemens, where our 23 coast-to-coast research and development centers for electronics and electrical engineering are helping to take steps toward a better tomorrow. We are Siemens.
Why can't they make a stronger flea collar?
Someone has. Scratch X. Look, compared to Hearts and Sergeants, Scratch X has the power to kill twice as many fleas. Compare. All these collars kill fleas, but Scratch X has the power to kill twice as many fleas, since it's government approved to work twice as long.
Yet Scratch X is safe for 3-month-old pets.
Remember, compared to Hearts and Sergeants' 5-month collars, the Scratch X 11-month collar has the power to kill twice as many fleas.
Arab kidnappers today released an American relief worker who was taken captive yesterday in the Israeli-occupied Gaza Strip. 35-year-old Chris George from New Jersey was unharmed and said he was treated well. Martha Teichner reports.
Relief tonight that Chris George was freed was tempered by fear that the incident might signal a sinister new turn in the Palestinian uprising, the Intifada. He is the first foreigner to be kidnapped here, abducted even though he lives and works among Palestinians as a director of the Save the Children Federation.
And they took me to publicize, to draw attention to their cause. They feel they have no voice, and this was the only way they could do it.
Chris George's release was as mysterious as his kidnapping yesterday from his office in Gaza City, shown here in a home video shot secretly after Israeli security forces sealed off the Gaza Strip. He was apparently asked to step outside, then hustled into a car and driven away. All day, Israeli soldiers searched cars driven by Palestinians. Government officials immediately accused the PLO.
Well, it's a repetition of the kind of brutal and fanatical acts that were exposed every day by PLO terrorists.
But PLO supporters condemned the kidnapping.
And those who are behind this incident are doing harm and distorting the national struggle of the Palestinian people.
If not the PLO, then who? The Intifada is not the disciplined, unified movement it seems to be in marches like this one today. Militant Islamic fundamentalists in the occupied territories want no part of any peace settlement with Israel. The mass arrest of fundamentalists last month may have triggered the abduction. The chilling implication that the fundamentalists may turn Gaza into another Beirut where nobody is safe. Chris George knows what that means. He left his last job in Lebanon because of the danger of being kidnapped. Martha Teichner, CBS News, Tel Aviv.
Almost 3 months after causing the worst oil spill in the nation's history, the tanker Exxon Valdez today left Naked Island in Alaska's Prince William Sound. The damaged tanker began its slow 20-day, 2,500-mile voyage to dry dock in San Diego, where it will undergo a $25 million repair job. The ship trailed a sheen of oil today, which the Coast Guard said was insignificant. But after photographers took pictures of the oil, Exxon officials ordered the press boat to leave.
Some springs, gardeners think good weather's never coming.
It comes. But how do you make up for lost time? With Stern's Miracle Grow plant food. Years of testing at a major university proved plants fed with Miracle grow faster, stronger, produce more flowers and vegetables than with other types of plant foods. So even if it's been a cold, wet spring, you can make up for lost time and get more from your garden with Miracle Grow.
Most car accidents happen in a showroom. People buy the wrong car. They want a car as quick as a Saab, as roomy as a Saab, as safe as a Saab, as reasonably priced as a Saab. But they don't test drive a Saab. Don't buy the wrong car. Visit your Saab dealer for a test drive. It's fun, it's free, and there's no risk involved.
What's the best kind of fruit? The kind that's fresh, moist, and plump. That's why Sunsweet are my favorite kind of pitted prunes. Moist, plump, and fresh. Sunsweet, because the best prunes are fresh prunes.
For the same calories in this, you could be enjoying this. This is low in fat, but so is Baskin-Robbins' new Low, Light, and Luscious with NutraSweet. It's sugar-free, 97% fat-free, 1/3 less calories than ice cream, and a taste that's all Baskin-Robbins.
The governor of West Virginia today called on the heads of the Pittston Coal Company and the United Mine Workers Union to resume negotiations on Monday, but tonight the company said no. The strike, which began in April, now involves miners in 10 states with no end in sight. Coal mining is difficult and dangerous work, but as Betsy Aaron reports, this time it is the life of the union itself that may be on the line.
The United Mine Workers Union is fighting for its future in the coal fields of America.
And people don't understand, when the unions are gone in the United States, there's going to be two types of people. They're going to be poor and rich. There ain't going to be no more middle class.
1,900 strikers at Pittston Coal in Virginia, West Virginia, and Kentucky are on strike. And now more than 40,000 miners in 7 other states are off the job in wildcat strikes, technically not ordered by the union.
I'm directing you to report back to work as of tomorrow or this evening. If there's any pickets there, I don't want anybody to harm anybody.
The men are not going to return back to work, from what I can gather.
Another union meeting, the same talk.
As if you got union blood, you wouldn't want to go back.
That's right.
And we're here to make a stand, and we're going to let this country know we're here to make a stand.
Make a stand despite the fact that they work for companies with signed contracts. At issue are benefits and working conditions, not wages.
If Pittston is successful in revamping its labor relations such that workers have no rights on the job, other companies are going to try the same thing,
For the most part, the mines are closed. And in the hollows of West Virginia, where coal mining is just about the only way to earn a living, the belt tightening has begun.
I was laid off 6 months, and we made it through it. Make it through it again. Made it through the 111 days.
Well, I tell you, I think we're in a fine mess myself.
Leon and Donna Bailey are children of coal miners.
It's not something that comes easy, walking off a job. If Piston wins this, the United Mine Workers is through. That's it.
I don't think that I could actually tell him, you've got to go back, because if you don't stand up for what you believe in, you've not got nothing.
Bailey works for Peabody Coal, but there's no coal being mined at Peabody now.
At the next time we have an opportunity to bargain with the union, we will be mindful of things that have happened in the past.
Tomorrow, most of the miners begin a prearranged 2-week vacation. The companies hope that during that time, the men will see the light and decide to return to work. But that doesn't seem likely, given the history of the United Mine Workers.
There's an old slogan that goes with the UMWA: an injury to one is an injury to all. The men are ready to dig in for a long, hard fight.
As the strike against Pittston enters its 11th week, 13 other companies have asked a judge to issue back-to-work orders. Betsy Aaron, CBS News, Bald Knob, West Virginia.
Financial serenity. It takes confidence. Control. Travelers has been delivering on this promise of financial peace of mind for 125 years. With carefully controlled investments, with insurance protection you can trust. The Travelers, you're better off under the umbrella.
Right now, all over America, people are busy getting their homes ready for you to come see them. It's part of Better Homes and Gardens' celebration of the American home. A celebration that's all about helping you find the home you've been looking for. In fact, this Sunday we'll be having thousands of open houses, and you're invited. Find out about homes and special events in your area by calling your local Better Homes and Gardens member firm. Join us for Better Homes and Gardens' celebration of the American home.
What's in the spoon?
100% natural.
Better get a grip. It takes 16 spoons to equal the vitamin and mineral nutrition in just 1 spoon of Total. Spoon for spoon, that's more nutrition than any other cereal.
1 spoon. Nice fit.
Good friends and good food, but my stomach aches. My party. And Mylanta 2.
Double strength Mylanta 2 with nearly double the acid neutralizing power of any leading regular strength brand.
Because my life takes Mylanta 2.
CBS News in Beijing was told today that a long-delayed meeting of the Communist Party Central Committee is finally underway. It's expected to name a hardline successor to party leader Zhao Ziyang, who was ousted for taking a conciliatory line toward the Movement for Democracy. CBS News correspondent Bob Simon has been reporting from China since April, when the movement first began. Tonight, in his final report, he looks back at the tumultuous changes of the last 2 months and some things that don't change at all.
Every day, twice a day, Kan Rei-lin climbs 316 stone steps to the top of Beijing's scenic hill. He's been doing it for 30 years now, ever since he retired at the age of 62. On his perch overlooking the Forbidden City, Kan Rei-lin plays his flute. Songs to keep a drowsy emperor awake, the poet said. Songs which never fail to enchant. When you're 92, you can see many things, he says. You can see how, in the space of a day, the traditional tranquility of a Beijing dawn can be shattered by the sounds of soldiers. He could see the buses those dizzying days in May, the buses which poured into the square and played so many parts for so many people. Dormitories, shelters, platforms, billboards, barricades, infernos. Buses which are now back to ferrying people through the motions of their grim, gray lives. We passed by a few of those lives in May, people who were nowhere near Tiananmen Square, but who were caught up in the thrill of changing times. We interviewed them and said goodbye, as is our way, but we looked them up this week to see how they were doing, or rather, to see what history had done to them.
这是第2块，正配，叫天仙
When we last saw director Zhou Xiaowen, he just finished a hip and slick film called Obsession, was having trouble with the censor over some nudity, but was convinced the system was loosening up.
You think it's going to get better?
Yes. I believe it.
His next project, a film about jail conditions in China, has been put on hold now, he says. His life has been put on hold. There are no quick edits, no fast cuts in communist propaganda, and when that's all that's being produced, there's no work for a real director. Not in the world of the forced handshake and the fake smile, the world where people are applauding not because they're grateful, but for the same reason that they're laughing, because they are afraid. Compare that to the face of real enthusiasm, to the face of another era, 1 month ago. The same people who with joy and exhilaration tried to talk the troops out of town now stare blankly as the trucks trek by. It wasn't just the students and the activists, it wasn't just the campuses and the square, it was in the air. Expressionist painter Ma Gang aired his views in a very non-socialist way, but he was given a one-man show in China's National Art Gallery. His works were sold at a government-sponsored auction in the Museum of the Revolution. Where is he now? His neighbors don't know. They say after the 4th of June, he and his family disappeared. Wu Se, the reporter for the Farmer's Daily, still drops by the office every week to pick up his paycheck, but he doesn't write anymore. A series he planned on poverty in the countryside has been canceled. A month ago, there was some honest reporting on farm problems, on the drought in the Northwest. Now on television every night, there are reports of a bumper crop, of the People's Army helping peasants with the harvest. And it hasn't rained in the Northwest this past month, not once. The businessmen we met are okay. Zhang Guoxi, the richest man in China, or one of them, says a consignment of Buddhist shrines he was shipping to Japan got delayed in Shanghai a few days, but no big deal. Market forces are more powerful than politics, say the capitalists. The communists agree. Nothing much will change. Han Rei-lin has watched China tumble from convulsion to convulsion this century. The only constant is the suffering. The only melody, his plaintive song floating over the tiled roofs of a forbidden city. These are the people we cannot tell you about, the people we'd met who were in the square, empty now. The people we'd met who were on the campuses, deserted now. Many are dead, these flower children of May. Many are missing, many are in hiding. Time will pass before we know what happened to any of them. We will never know what happened to some of them. The government should have talked to the students, says Han Rei-lin. You should always talk about things. But this was just a spark in China's history, he says. No reason to put down a flute. An old man by an old city, playing tunes, as the poet said, of what is past, or passing, or to come. Bob Simon, CBS News, Beijing.
That's the news. We'll be back tomorrow, of course. Connie Chung will be here on Sunday, and Dan Rather returns on Monday. I'm Bob Schieffer, CBS News in New York. Good night.
Are stage animals being routinely and repeatedly abused by Hollywood? The shocking inside stories on the next Entertainment